Hi, I'm Alberto Racanati. I am a performance resident. I am a musician, trumpet player, producer, composer, and I am a second year resident here at Shadow Street. I believe everybody has some sort of creativity within. I do think that we're, as humans, as people, we are driven to output something that comes from our imagination, wherever that is. Although that is something that, even though it's within us, it needs to be fostered, in order to be put out. So, and that's where community and that's where being exposed to art to a very early age comes into play. And so I do believe that people who go to see concerts, who go to the museum, who read and do all those things, that are exposed all the time since they're kids to lots of art, will probably tend to be more creative, but not because somebody has it and somebody doesn't, just because it's something that definitely needs to be fostered. Having ideas doesn't necessarily mean being creative and doing something. You need to exercise that muscle. How would I explain my creative process from start to finish? Okay, oh boy. Creative process doesn't really have a start, or it doesn't really have an ending point per se, because I feel like it's always happening and you just cut the tape where you decide, and that's the piece of art that you have. I kind of live it in that way. It happens for me in many different ways. Sometimes I have an idea specifically that I want to develop, and so I might be recording a file on my phone, like an audio message on my phone, and go with that and expand on that. Some other times I hear somebody that really inspires me and drives me to make music that is similar to that. Other times I have a project that needs done and I have an idea for the project, but maybe no material music, and so I start from the idea and I work my way backwards. So I think there's probably 4 or 5 different ways that the process happens, generally speaking, and every time is a little bit different, but it concretizes itself always in the final piece of art that I'm trying to work for. I am my harshest critic, for sure. I think that criticizing your work goes together with doing it. I think if you don't criticize your own work, you're probably done doing this thing, or you're probably on your way out. There's always something that you can do better. There is always something that can be improved that you can do for your next thing. At the same time, you kind of have to. It takes a little bit of funambulism, if you will, because you cannot let that define you. The fact that you have stuff to improve in my case, for example, in my writing, in my playing, that does not mean that I necessarily want to live in that mindset where I'm like, I'm horrible, I suck at this, right? We don't want that mindset, but at the same time, it's very important to be critical, because without criticism, cannot be any meaningful improvement in what you do. So to keep myself motivated and interested in what I do, it's pretty much a roller coaster. Sometimes you wake up and that's all you can think about, and you're very eager to tackle the work ahead. And some other days you don't feel like doing it, which is very natural and fine. Something that works like clockwork for me, I just go see things. I just take myself to a concert. I walk at the museum. I'm constantly asking questions to my musicians, to my artist friends, about how do you do this? What inspired you to do that? I talk to people a lot and I go see what they do. And a mixture of like the interpersonal exchange plus just being a spectator in somebody else's thing really inspires me to have a clearer idea of what do I want to do. So in this very moment, I have that good level of crazy in my life, project-wise, music-wise, where I have just enough to be overboard a little bit, all over the place with my projects, which is a good place to be for this moment. I am currently preparing for an installation at the Nelson Atkins museum, and I'm curating a couple of events and writing my next multimedia work. So there's a lot of writing that's happening right now, along with performing, along with curating events at the same time. So I'm kind of like in a special moment in my career, if you will, going from just being a musician to doing all these other things, more of like a wider reach, if you will, artistically with what I'm doing. What would I like people to experience with my work? Um, I like to provide a meaningful distraction. I don't necessarily make music to yell at people what they should be thinking or um, how you should see this or that necessarily, because I feel like we are constantly told that we open our phones or our computers and they're literally screaming at us messages of doing whatever. And I like to go exactly the opposite way. I want to provide a mirror in a way, sonically speaking, if you will, where you can just space out maybe for a little bit. No, don't listen to commercials or this or that point of view. Just listen to yourself, listen to the music, get lost a little bit before having to confront yourself with reality again. So a little escape, perhaps, that's something that goes a long way.